The rapidly escalating confrontation between the United States and Iran has become one of the most significant and widely discussed international crises of the year, drawing intense attention from governments, military analysts, global markets, and millions of people around the world who are closely watching every new development. What began as rising tensions and military warnings has now transformed into a large-scale military confrontation that many experts say could reshape the geopolitical balance of power in the Middle East and potentially influence global security for years to come. Over the past several days, American forces have carried out a series of powerful and carefully coordinated airstrikes across Iranian territory, targeting critical military infrastructure that officials believe plays a central role in Iran's missile and drone programs. These strikes have reportedly focused on ballistic missile bases, underground weapons storage facilities, radar systems, command centers, and drone launch sites believed to be capable of threatening American forces and allied nations throughout the region. The operation has involved some of the most advanced military aircraft in the world, including long-range strategic bombers, capable of traveling thousands of miles and delivering precision-guided weapons designed to penetrate hardened underground bunkers and destroy strategic targets with extreme accuracy. Defense analysts say the scale of these strikes suggests that the United States is attempting not only to respond to immediate threats, but also to significantly weaken Iran's long-term military capabilities, particularly its missile arsenal, which has been a key pillar of its defense strategy for many years. According to military sources, dozens and possibly hundreds of sites have already been targeted since the beginning of the campaign, making it one of the most intense military operations in the region in recent times. In response to these attacks, Iranian forces have reportedly launched several waves of missile and drone strikes aimed at military positions and strategic locations across the broader Middle East, demonstrating that Tehran still maintains the ability to retaliate despite the damage inflicted on its infrastructure. Air defense systems across the region were immediately activated as incoming missiles and drones were detected, with many of them intercepted before reaching their targets. Though the situation has nevertheless created widespread concern about the possibility of further escalation, governments across neighboring countries have placed their security forces on high alert, while airlines and shipping companies have begun reviewing routes in order to avoid potential danger zones. The conflict has also ignited intense political debate in Washington, where U.S. President Donald Trump has strongly defended the military campaign, stating that the strikes are necessary to protect American troops, deter hostile actions, and ensure the safety of U.S. allies in the region. Supporters of the operation argue that decisive military action is required to prevent Iran from expanding its missile capabilities and threatening regional stability, while critics warn that such actions risk drawing the United States into another prolonged conflict in the Middle East inside Iran. Reports indicate that several areas have experienced heavy bombardment, with explosions and air defense activity reported near multiple military installations and even in regions close to the capital city of Tehran. Witnesses have described hearing loud blasts, seeing flashes in the sky, and watching as air defense systems attempted to intercept incoming strikes, highlighting the intensity of the military activity taking place. As the conflict continues, analysts are increasingly concerned about the possibility that the fighting could spread beyond the current participants. The Middle East is a region where many countries maintain complex alliances and rivalries, meaning that a single miscalculation or accidental strike could draw additional nations into the confrontation. Several governments have already increased their military readiness, and advanced defense systems remain on standby in case the conflict expands. Beyond the immediate battlefield, the crisis is also sending shockwaves through global financial markets and energy industries. Because the Middle East produces a large portion of the world's oil supply, any instability in the region can quickly influence global energy prices. One of the biggest concerns among analysts is the security of the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow but extremely important waterway through which a significant percentage of the world's oil exports pass every day. If shipping in this area were disrupted due to military activity or security threats. It could cause oil prices to rise sharply, potentially affecting economies and consumers across the globe. In addition to economic concerns, humanitarian organizations are also closely monitoring the situation, warning that continued escalation could place civilian populations at risk and lead to broader regional instability. International leaders and diplomatic organizations have begun calling for restraint, urging both sides to avoid actions that could trigger an even larger conflict. Behind the scenes, diplomatic channels remain active as several countries attempt to encourage negotiations or mediation that could reduce tensions before the crisis grows even more severe. However, despite these calls for diplomacy, military operations and defensive preparations continue, and both sides appear determined to protect what they see as their strategic interests. Airstrikes, missile interceptions, intelligence operations, and military deployments remain ongoing as the world watches anxiously. Experts say the coming days and weeks will be extremely important in determining the direction of this crisis. If diplomatic efforts succeed, the confrontation could eventually stabilize and move toward negotiations. But if the cycle of retaliation continues to intensify, the situation could evolve into a much broader conflict involving multiple nations and far-reaching consequences for global stability. For now, the world remains on edge as the confrontation between the United States and Iran enters a highly unpredictable phase, one that could shape international relations, security policies, and geopolitical alliances for many years to come, while leaving governments, markets, and ordinary citizens waiting to see what the next chapter of this unfolding crisis will bring.